All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at a company called Schüßler-Consulting.
Mm-hmm.
And the catch is we're only going to use their website as a source.
Interesting.
So no peeking behind the curtain this
I
time.
like it.
Just pure website sleuthing.
All right. Let's see what we can uncover.
And it's their German language website to make it even more interesting.
Even better.
So right off the bat, one thing that jumped out at me was their tagline, People Strategy Results.
Yeah, pretty standard for a consulting company.
Right. But then they have this quote
Oh, yeah.
by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry
I love him.
about, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up the people to gather wood
Right.
and assign them tasks and give them orders. Instead, teach them to long for the vast and endless sea.
Ah, that's a good one.
So it seems like they're hinting at a people-centric approach.
It does seem that way.
But let's back up a bit.
Sure.
Their website says they've been offering business consulting services since 2010.
Yeah, so over a decade of experience.
But for someone who isn't familiar with the world of consulting,
Mm-hmm.
what does business consulting actually entail?
Well, in a nutshell, it's about helping companies improve their performance.
Okay.
So, they come in and they analyze a company's operations, their strategy, their organization.
So it could be anything from like
Oh, yeah, it's a very broad field
a small startup.
to a multinational corporation.
Gotcha.
Really, any organization that needs help achieving its goals.
So what kind of problems would a company hire Schüßler Consulting to solve?
Well, think about it. Every company faces challenges.
Right.
Could be anything from declining sales to low employee morale to, inefficiencies in their processes, or
Right.
maybe they're just not growing as fast as they'd like.
So basically, Schüßler Consulting swoops in and figures out how to fix things.
Yeah, that's the basic idea.
But they also mentioned something about helping businesses improve performance sustainably and in the long term.
Yes, sustainability is a big buzzword these days.
What does it actually mean in this context, though?
Well, I think it's about creating solutions that don't just provide a quick fix,
Okay.
but actually have a lasting impact.
So not just putting a Band-Aid on the problem
Exactly. It's about addressing the root cause.
and finding solutions that benefit the company
Right.
in the long run.
And potentially even, their stakeholders and the environment.
Right. So this is a more holistic approach.
Yeah, I think that's what they're getting at.
Okay. So they're all about sustainability and long-term solutions. But then there's this other phrase that caught my eye.
What's that?
They say they work more as co-entrepreneurs, not as classic consultants.
Interesting.
What do you make of that?
Well, it seems like they're trying to differentiate themselves from the typical consultant.
Right.
The one who comes in, delivers a report, and then disappears.
Yeah, the hidden run consultant.
Exactly. So
Yep.
they're saying, look, we're not just going to tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to work alongside you.
Roll up our sleeves.
Exactly. We're invested in your success.
So it's more of a partnership than a client-consultant relationship.
I think that's the message they're trying to convey.
And maybe that ties back into the whole longing for the sea quote.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If they're truly co-entrepreneurs, they need to inspire that shared vision
Right. Everyone needs to be on board with the journey.
and believe in the destination
Otherwise, you're just rowing in different directions.
and getting nowhere fast.
Exactly.
Speaking of destinations, their website mentions working with medium-sized and international companies.
Yeah, so a pretty wide range of clients.
What kind of specific challenges do you think those companies might be facing?
Well, it really depends on the industry, the company's stage of development.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
But let's say we have a hypothetical medium-sized company.
Okay.
What are some common issues they might bring to Schüßler Consulting,
Well, on a strategic level, they might be struggling to keep up with the competition.
especially in today's rapidly changing market?
Exactly. Or they might be looking to expand into new markets,
Which can be daunting.
especially for a medium-sized company.
Right. And then on an organizational level,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of problems might they encounter?
Oh, well, communication breakdowns are always a classic.
Silos.
Yeah, silos, different departments not talking to each other.
Leading to inefficiencies and frustration?
Exactly. Or maybe they have a talent shortage.
Can't find the right people.
Right. Or they can't retain the good people they have.
Which is a huge problem for a lot of companies.
It is. And then on an operational level,
Mm.
it could be anything from supply chain issues to outdated technology to inefficient production processes.
So basically, any area of the business could be a potential pain point.
Pretty much. And that's where Schüßler-Consulting comes in.
They figure out what's wrong and help the company fix it.
In a sustainable and long-term way.
Always remembering that longing for the sea.
Right, keeping that big picture in mind.
Now for the really intriguing stuff.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They're a licensed brand ambassador for the Principality of Liechtenstein.
That's pretty specific.
It is. What do you make of that?
Well, it suggests a strong connection to that market.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a lot of experience working with companies in Liechtenstein.
Or they see it as a potential growth area.
Could be both.
So they're not just focused on the German market.
It seems
They're branching out internationally.
Yeah, which makes sense given their emphasis on working with international companies.
And then there's the Cuba Club Business Network.
Interesting.
Another very specific affiliation.
It is.
What do we make of that?
Well, it definitely shows an interest in Cuba.
Yeah.
Maybe they see it as an emerging market.
With untapped potential.
Exactly. And they want to be at the forefront of that.
So they're not afraid to venture into uncharted territory.
It seems not,
Yeah.
which is pretty adventurous for a consulting firm.
It is, but it also speaks to their expertise.
Right. They must have a deep understanding of different cultures and business environments.
Which is essential for working with international clients.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the more mundane aspects of their website. They have a company brochure and their general terms and conditions for 2024.
Pretty standard stuff.
Right. But still important.
Oh, yeah. The brochure is like their sales pitch.
It showcases their services and their successes.
Exactly. And the terms and conditions lay out the legal framework for their work.
So it protects both them and their clients.
Right. It's all about transparency and clarity.
And finally, they have a section on data privacy and cookie settings.
Which is essential these days.
Absolutely, especially with all the regulations around data protection.
Right. It shows they're taking privacy seriously.
And they're being transparent with their users.
Which is always a good sign.
So after all this digging, what's our verdict on Schüßler-Consulting?
Well, based on their website alone, they seem like a very competent and forward-thinking consulting firm.
They're not just about quick fixes. They're in it for the long haul.
Right. They emphasize sustainability collaboration and a deep understanding of their clients' needs.
And they're not afraid to explore new markets.
They seem to have a global mindset.
So the question is, if you were a company looking for a business consultant, would Schüßler-Consulting be a good fit for you?
That's a tough question.
It is. What would you want to know more about?
Well, for me, I'd be curious about their track record.
Yeah, do they have case studies or testimonials?
Exactly. And I'd also want to know more about their team.
Who are the people behind Schüßler-Consulting?
Right. What's their expertise? What's their experience?
Because at the end of the day, it's the people that make the difference.
Absolutely.
So that's our deep dive into Schüßler-Consulting.
Based solely on their website.
If you're intrigued by what you've heard, I encourage you to do your own research.
Yeah, check out their website, see what resonates with you.
And remember, even the most polished website is just a starting point.
The real deep dive begins when you engage with a company directly.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.